I'm Andrew Sheridan, and this is the Great British Chef's Signature Series. Less is more on a plate. It's just about cooking food that you're comfortable and that you want to eat. And the customers will experience that because they'll taste it in the food. The interaction with the guests, it's a lot more than just food on a plate. They can see the backstory about the whole journey of the restaurant. There's that connection. I loved cooking. I loved eating, and I didn't like eating rubbish food. There had to be a lot more to cooking than just throwing things in microwaves and deep fat frying everything. I can get that at home. We're trying to create something that you can't do at home that's really completely unique to every person that comes in. So next dish that I'm about to cook for you is called 8 Days a Week on the menu, and it's crab and apple. 8 Days a Week, Been a Lad from Liverpool is a very famous Beatles song. The rights to the song were owned by Apple Corporation, which Paul McCartney owned. So this is where the apple came into the 8 days a week. So what we're going to do for you today is we've got a lovely crab custard. We're serving that with a crab stock jelly. We've also got a nice little crab salad and some croutons which have been fried in some lemon oil. So first off, we are going to make the crab custard. Now, the way that we make the crab custard is we make a very traditional crab bisque, so your mirepoix in a pan. We roast the crab shells in the oven. We add tomato paste to the mirepoix. We cook that out. We add lots of cognac, brandy to the pan, and we'll just leave that on the stove ticking over for 4 or 5 hours. We get that stock then, and we reduce that crab bisque all the way down to a litre. So you end up with this really thick, intense bisque. I mean, you smell it, it's really, really potent. So we call this our crab paste. So in here we've got a little bit of cream, double cream, and we've also got some milk. Pour that in. Next I'm going to add my egg yolks straight in, and we're just going to give that a little whisk together. So with the crab paste, I'm going to add a good tablespoon. Now, one thing I will say about this recipe is there's no need to season it. The crab paste is so intense after we've reduced it down. This really, really rich, dark colour. So for me, you know, this custard definitely doesn't need to be seasoned. What I've learned over the years now I've been a chef is when it comes to recipes, there's got to be a balance. You know, you've got to think it in your head. If I heavily season every single component, so I heavily season the custard, heavily season the salad, heavily season the jelly, all I'm going to get is salt as soon as I try the dish. So I really try to break it down when we're coming up with the dishes. Once your custard is all whisked, just pour it into a jug. So this is one of the crab shells that we've had, and we actually serve the salad inside the shell and the custard. So it's entirely up to you. You could cook this recipe in ramekins if you wanted to. I prefer it like this because I want the restaurant, I want it to look a little bit different for the customer. So when we're cooking this, we just put a little metal ring underneath. I get some tissue paper, and then I put the crab shell on it. I do that just so it holds it nice and securely. So all we're going to do, we're going to get our crab custard, pour that into the shell. And I'll be nice and generous with it. Fill the shell right up, like that. And then what we're going to do is, we're going to bake this in the oven at 100 degrees for around 14 to 15 minutes, just so it's still got a slight little wobble. Take that out and then just leave that to set up in the fridge. And that's going to be your crab custard element of the dish. Next part of the dish. In this pan here, we've just made a normal fish stock. So your leeks, your onions, we've put some fennel in there as well, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of lemon thyme and some bay leaves, some mackerel, and we've also used some smoked haddock as well. So what we do is we've got about 500 ml of the liquid there. I'm just going to put that on the stove, and I've got 1.5 gelatin leaves there. All we're going to do is add this to the smoked stock. So that's on there. Let that all dissolve. So once that's been done, bring it up to the boil. Make sure it's all dissolved. Get your pan, and all we're going to do, pour our stock into the tray, and then we're just going to pop that into the fridge 4 or 5 hours or so. My jelly is now set, so what I've got in here is this. And all we're going to do with this is just roughly chop that up. This is just adding another dimension to this. And now, next little job we're going to do, we're going to put a little pan on the stove. In here, I've got some lemon infused rapeseed oil. And what we're going to do is, I've made some small little croutons. We just get the ends of the brioche and we just cut them into nice little cubes, just because we think it'd be nice little bit of texture going through the crab salad. Sprinkle some of them into the nice little lemon oil. And we're just going to fry them off so they go nice and golden. So all we're going to do with that now, pop them onto there, spread them out nice and evenly, and just let them cool down. Right, onto the crab salad. One thing that you will learn over the years of being a chef, the simpler, the better. This couldn't be, you know, any simpler, this dish. So what we've got here is, we've got some lovely white crab meat. Now, with that, in here, just got some chopped chives. Next is a crab and apple salad. After all, we want to keep all the salad, you know, when they're eating it. I want it to eat really well. So when I'm dicing the apple, I'm thinking about the same size dice as the crouton. I want it to be slightly bigger because I've called it crab and apple. So one of the main elements on the dish, flavours, has to be the apple that comes through. So in here now, we've got our crab and our apple. I've added my chives to that as well. All I'm going to do again is just dress that with a little bit of lemon, rapeseed oil. The acidity of the lemon is really, really going to cut through that crab. Our lovely crab custard, which is here. I'm just going to serve that there. Lovely smoked fish jelly. Now we're going to take our crab salad. It's a lot, you know, it is about simplicity, but it's also about that whole visual experience. If they visually want to eat it with their eyes, then, you know, we've kind of like done our job, because we already know that it tastes bloody delicious. So making it look very, very beautiful as well, you know, we've kind of won them over. And then apple works really, really well with sorrel. Sorrel's got a very lemony flavour to it as well. I don't put loads of different herbs on a dish for no reason. You know, if it hasn't got a purpose on there or a flavour on there, it doesn't go on the dish. And there you have it. That is our crab custard, crab salad, smoked jelly and sorrel.